Hello YouTube, it's Jessica here and welcome back to Planet Coaster. Today we're going to go ahead and start off our day one of our YouTube tutorials here. Today is going to go ahead and go over pathing and terrain. Let's go ahead and get this started here. So we're going to go ahead and go over a few basics on how to make pathing, different things you can do with pathing, and how pathing is different in this game compared to how it was in the other games. So previously, before with pathing, they were square paths, so you can already see a visual difference of the paths being circular, so that's one thing that's already different right there previously. And what makes the pathing stand out so much differently is the fact that you can make wider paths, narrow paths so much easier than in the previous before. So we're going to go ahead and move all the way out here so we can go ahead and test this. We're going to go ahead and choose a nice color here. So let's go ahead and get this started. So let's just place one thing, path on the ground. Now before you are select on a grid, where you can also still do a grid if you'd like to. You can select a grid to a building. I'll go more into that details later. So we'll go ahead and place a path here. So you got a different little angle snaps that you can do. If you turn it off, you can free rein the path to go in any direction you please to go. And do angle snap, it will snap to specific angles along into there. So it's easier if you want to set it 90, so you only have four different options, so on and so forth. I prefer to keep it at 15% there, that way I can do 15, 45, 90 degree angles very easily. So if you wanted to build a very long path very quickly, you just increase the length to the length that you want, go ahead and click, and there you go. You can also stretch the path out the 5 tiles that you want into that circular motion, the angle that you're looking for. Now previously, for you to make a wider path, you just put more path icons next to each other. That's not how it works now. Now you have your width tab. You can choose how wide you want the path to be, and then it will go ahead and jump up to that width over a period of time. And as you can see, that is a very huge path there. And go ahead and place that path. Just do a nice little giant circle and connect ourselves back over here, and voila. So there we go. We go ahead and made our first little section of path, oblong, whatever. We're not worried about all that. So now if you wanted to connect more path, let's say we wanted to build a shop inside of this. Just go ahead and move this a little bit smaller, a little bit more wider than a normal set of paths, just a little bit. We'll go with 5 meters, and we'll go ahead and do it like this angle here, and boom, and connect back on the other side there. So we got a nice little cut through. That way we can design a path anywhere you want. It shows you the direction of the path and where it cuts in on more of a little grid, and you can choose the direction, the width, whatever. So we want to do 2 tiles, and we want to make this one wider. So boom, boom, connect it there, and we want to come through the other side. Boom, boom, boom. So there we go. So now I got ourselves a nice little shopping center. We'll have a lot of little shops on this side that'll be bigger, and a narrow path to connect in between there. So we'll go ahead and before, really easy for you to make a path up. If you needed to make an angled path for you to go ahead and go up, that way you needed to get over a building, you need to do something that you just hold the mouse button and you drag up and down. And you click it, and boom, there you go, you design yourselves path. What I really like about pathing was previously is you have the advanced setup, so if you wanted to have more of a curved slope, look at that. Something you weren't able to do that before. Build yourself a nice little staircase. If you wanted to put on the little put the railing on while it's elevated, boom, boom, put the railing on. If you wanted railing while you were having a ground path, boom, whatever look or design that you wanted to go for, you have that ability to do. Then you didn't have to do previously. Something else that you now have that you didn't have is you now have nature paths. So if you wanted to build a path that you couldn't really see the path and it was just more of a nature walk type of thing, you're walking through scenery, you don't want to look at the path, you can now create nature pathing. Right now we have that railing turned off, so turn that railing off. And there we go. Go ahead and turn that. So it puts the little curb things on, which you can also set that up on theirs, and boom. You now have the little nature walk path that goes through whatever you want to your heart's desire there. So that's something that's really cool. And of course, the third option here is queuing, and you just have your queue system. So you'll go from your ride to wherever you want your queue to go, connect in and whatever. But before, you didn't have any way of making your queues wider. Now you can. If you wanted to have a wider queue, because you know this is going to be a really popular ride, you need to have a fatter queue, and then you want to make a quick angle turn, you want to make it narrow, whatever you want to do to your queue system, you can now do that you didn't have any control of before. And of course, different colors, just like previously that you had there. So that's one of the things about the terrain and the mapping and the build design for pathing that is much different than how it was before, especially with having an endless amount of grid angles that you want to come up with there. So let's go ahead and move on. So the terrain tool, before previously you had your grid across your park, you had your squares, you chose your square, you pulled it up, you pulled it down, you pulled it in an angle, corner, whatever you wanted to do to design it. Now you have the circular tool that has two different charts, one for size, which is how big the actual circle would be affected by. You see, the smaller we get, and one for intensity, which is how quickly it affects it. So if I have the intensity really high, as you see, since it's so small, it won't do anything, but if I lower the intensity down to 16%, it does pretty much nothing. Like, I might as well not even done anything there. So go ahead and pull that back there like it never happened. And of course, you also have the new tool, so let's go ahead and use up that, and boom, gone. So before you had pull, push, now you have a couple more tools: flatten the foundation, flatten the surface, roughen, smooth, and chisel. So I'm going to go ahead and what each one does. So let's go ahead and just make a nice little mountain here, pull it up, and see how it wraps over the path. Isn't that pretty cool? So if you wanted to build a tunnel, it's fairly easy. Just keep pulling the earth up, and then bam, look at that, we got a tunnel. Look how easy that was. Well, boom, we have a tunnel. So of course, you know, pull up, you make a hill. Pull down, makes a divot. So let's go ahead and pull that back up here. Go ahead and cover that up. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and do over a few different tools here. So let's say flatten foundation, mainly uses for it to be if you have a hill that you wanted to just get rid of, or if you have an angle that you want to create. So I want, for example, I clicked it up here and dragged it out, so that means everything I have is going to flatten up to that height, and then it's going to create a nice, boom, flat surface for me to have. So now I just built myself a nice little cliff that has a nice little flattened surface all topped across the top there. So it's pretty cool. So if you want to make a little elevated hill and flatten now for you to put a ride on, that you can. So, oh, that was flatten foundation, my bad. So flatten the surface. So, boom, look at that. The surface that I clicked on was a corner. If I would have clicked here, it'd just make the surface, and then boom, I can get rid of everything I was just working on. Whatever surface I click is what's going to flatten to. So I have it clicked on the bottom, so it's just going to delete that hill and just pretty much just flatten it out. What's really cool about what you can do to a flattened surface, as we're going to show here, so if I click the ground and just go straight under this building, I'm just going to make a tunnel straight out of it. I can just make a tunnel and go all the way through the other side, and boom, I just made a tunnel that connects from there to there, and it was real easy for me to do. Chisel will make a nice flat angled side on whatever that you're looking for. So we want to just chisel that side out to make it more detailed. So really all these different tools are giving you the ability to design anything you want. So as you see over here, I built this rock formation, and I used the roughen tool, and I used the chisel tool to create this out, and use the flattened foundation over here to create a little rocky area where you can see some of these rocks are like floating, like legit, that one is just floating in the sky, to create what you want with the terrain to make it look how you want. You now have endless design for terrain tools that you did not have previously. So smooth, if I want to make this a little bit, smooth this out, make it look nicer, I can smooth it out. If I want to say, nah, I want to roughen this out. So I want it real rough. I want it to look like, you know, this was a rock formation just ripped straight out of the earth. You know, I just wanted to make it look like it just was destroyed and pulled to pieces, and there we go. Lowers it by and randoms it up for you there. So what I did earlier is in this part, Grizzly Hills, which is the design, everything I create, by the way, is all user made. It's all my designs here. I decided I wanted to have a front of the entrance of the park up elevated from everything else, and then I'm just going to have a divot that goes down, and it's all going to go underground. So what I'm going to do is I've designed a little tunnel down here, so that goes into it, down on this side, down on that side, that just goes deep down inside underneath all the mountains there that we've already created. So this whole park is going to be underground, all of this here. I'm just going to keep pulling this earth up and designing how I want and pull it all the way out here. So this is sandbox mode, so I can do whatever I want. It doesn't cost me any money, and I can design the park how I want there. So that is the pathing tool and a terrain tool. If you have any questions, concerns about anything, or if you want suggestions for the next video I plan on doing is we're going to go over scenery and buildings, and we're pretty much just going to go through a tutorial of how everything works itself and go over it all one by one. Once again, this is Planet Coaster. Thank you for all watching. Like and subscribe to this video, please. Thank you. Yeah.